From the heart of Bradford, this is BCB 106.6 FM.
Yeah, staying briefly with the subject, actually, one of the organisations campaigning was using the hashtag Let the Music Play. This was talking about small music venues. Small music venues are saying they needed 50 million quid or they were going to go out of business. There's not actually that many compared to what there was 20, 30 years ago. Earlier on this today, though, I caught up with Gav Sykes. Now, he's from Bradford band Breakout. They're a band who's been gigging for years and years, really, really busy all over Bradford, all over Yorkshire. Of course, things got really dicey for them when everything was basically cancelled, but they at the start of lockdown, but they haven't gone, oh right, that's the end of it. They've actually used the time, although they're a covers band, they've used the time to bring out a new single. Anyway, I caught up with Gav Sykes from Breakout earlier. He's the keyboardist, and I asked him to start by telling me about the band and about the new single. Now, so Gav, tell us all about Breakout and tell us about the new single, Outbreak.
Thank you. Yeah, well, Breakout is a band we've been together 10 years. We celebrated our 10th anniversary. Up to this point, we've been a rock covers band, doing classic and modern rock, playing venues around the circuit. And what happened was, like a lot of musicians, when lockdown occurred and we're suddenly not able to play live again, we were trying to find ways in which we could still get involved in music and work together as a band. And rather than go down the route of learning covers, like a lot of bands have done, there's been some fantastic work out there with bands putting video out and doing sort of little live shows over social media. We decided we'd actually like to have a crack at writing a song together.
So how have you managed to actually record it then? Because obviously we've only been allowed to meet up for the past, 4 weeks, something like that?
That's correct. We haven't met up at all. It's all been done remotely. So I started with some ideas for chords and sent those across to our guitarist and singer, Aaron Mole. And he immediately started working on some guitar riffs and a solo, and a lot of enthusiasm came out of that. And what we're doing is we're sending tracks across, and we're all using the same software, free software called Cakewalk. And basically our drummer laid down drum tracks and our bass player was working out with ideas, and Aaron had the job of mixing it all and putting it all together. So we haven't been messing with it. Yeah. I
have to say, right, I like to think I know quite a lot about music, but I'm astonished that you've done all, because I'm going to play the track in a bit. I'm astonished that was done remotely. That you all weren't there and you all weren't part of the process and you all weren't in the studio.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of, Zoom calls and a lot of phone calls and discussions. And I think the technology that's available now to musicians has enabled us to do that. Some years ago it may not have been possible. And it's not as fulfilling as actually being in a rehearsal room together and getting together and bashing ideas out. And the time lag in terms of ideas has been a little frustrating. But it's, we're very, very pleased with the end result.
Which you should be. Let me just talk about the sounds though, because obviously in terms of the band Breakout, you've been doing covers a long time, everything from sort of Deep Purple and Whitesnake and Floyd, all the way up to sort of Stereophonics and Muse, sort of quite recent stuff. So there you've got a whole kind of, and it's all rock, but there's a whole kind of almost like a musical spectrum of rock. You've got a very particular rock sound on the single. How did you then decide, right, that's the sound we're going for, when you weren't in a rehearsal space together trying out different options, or was that very clear right from the beginning, right, we're going for that kind of rock sound?
I don't think it was necessarily a conscious decision. When I started writing the song, I was trying to really create something, I suppose, reminiscent of that late 80s rock sound. And my influences certainly come through that in terms of the keyboard sounds which I chose. Aaron actually, I think he's gone for quite a modern guitar sound. He's very, very good at creating sound palettes and textures as a guitarist. And as it came together, and our bass player, Mark B. Ben, actually suggested one or two tweaks. He's great on arrangements. But I don't think we'd actually set out with an idea that we were going to create that particular sound. We didn't want to sound like Muse. We didn't want to sound like Whitesnake. We were just creating something of our own. And I think a lot of people compared it to some of those great bands from the 70s and 80s.
Gav Sykes from Bradford Brand's Breakout, that's your new single, Outbreak there. Now, talking about gigging, you've actually, as a band, been gigging for over 10 years. You know, you've been gigging all over Bradford, you've been gigging all over Yorkshire, but obviously all that just stopped pretty much overnight with the COVID outbreak. What's your feelings about what's happening around live music and your future with gigging? What's going through your head about it all at the moment?
It's very uncertain times. We are not sure when we will be able to get together as a band and actually perform live. I know there's been some good news just the other day, I think, released from the government saying they're actually going to fund arts and try to keep things going. But it's those grassroots venues, and it's the smaller venues that we play that I think are certainly going to struggle. There's the whole thing about physical distancing and actually managing to put on a performance, and then what's it actually going to feel like if we have to maintain that distance, because the excitement of standing up and the spontaneous dancing and the chanting and the shouting, that whole live experience is what musicians feed off when you're on stage. You really get a buzz from the crowd reaction, and we're not sure whether that will actually happen again.
Yeah, I was looking on Facebook today. So a friend I've got on Facebook who's a really successful performer over in East Coast of America, based in LA and Mexico, is really, really successful. He actually posted a link to a BBC thing about drive-in and socially distanced gigs in Newcastle.
Right.
Was this the future of gigs, where basically everybody's kind of in little circles of their team of 6 or whatever, but completely spaced out from each other and outside? And he was saying, no, I'm not getting this, not feeling it. So obviously there's, across the world, there's a lot of worry with musicians for whom the live performance is everything, Yeah, but the money is very welcome though. 1.5 billion. The Chancellor announced. I mean, the small music venues were saying all the way through, there'd been a big campaign, Let the Music Play, and they've been saying all the way through, haven't they? They just needed 50 million to keep those venues going. Some stats on the music and cultural industry worth 23 billion to our economy. It's more than aviation. Without those small venues, we don't have a music industry, do we?
No, and that's always been the case. I think bands that come out of the pub scene, bands that play the rock clubs, the indie clubs, as we said, it's that grassroots support from audiences. I like nothing better than going into a place and you find out there's a band on and they can go and stay and see what they like, even if it's not the sort of music I might choose to listen to. I just love hearing people getting up and playing live, and respect anybody who can do that, because it's, it is challenging. And I'm missing seeing other bands as much as I'm missing performing myself.
So we'll have to see what the future brings. But meanwhile, Gav, everybody can head onto your Facebook page for Breakout, onto YouTube, get the single that way.
You can indeed, yes. And so we're hoping to launch it on platforms like Spotify and iTunes and others as well shortly.
Yeah, so if you like your rock, basically, make sure you get that, download it, listen to it. And when the venues open back out, I think it's incumbent on us all to get out there and support the musicians.
We always say that, yes. It's if you don't use the venues, then you lose the venues, then you lose that chance to see bands and musicians performing.
There we go. That was Gav there from Breakout. And just go onto YouTube, go onto their Facebook page, download and do support their single.